Hello again, folks. Revolver Guide Prepping for Poor People. I was going to do a short video today on 5 cheap and easy items that you can pick up for prepping. Uh, these are just 5 things that I've tried that I know are good, and they're certainly not the most expensive, but they're definitely something that we could use in the meantime until we get something better. Uh, I know a lot of us are on a budget. Went camping with the family this weekend, and I was sitting there thinking at some of the things I had sitting there that I was using, and some of the things I know that I've used in the past that work really well. And I thought I would share these 5 things with you, just to give you an idea of some stuff, and some things that you can be doing right now to prepare. Because I really feel like this world's I mean, it's just every day it's something else. I mean, we had these huge earthquakes out in California. At any time, that could really cause a problem with tsunamis, or some experts are even saying that it could cause Yellowstone to erupt, and that'd be a pretty tough thing to happen. I really hope that doesn't. But anyway, I thought I'd give you these 5 quick tips. Number one is coffee filters. Coffee filters are a really cheap, great way to filter your water. Now, they're not going to filter out the chemicals and pathogens in it, but they will get a majority of the dirt and things like that out of the water, so that you can then boil it so you can consume it. Now, if it does have chemicals in it, uh, that's not going to take care of it. So if you're in an area where you are afraid you may have chemicals in your water, you're really going to have to think about some type of ceramic filter. But if you're not, if you're able to collect rainwater, or have a water source, such as a creek or a river or something like that, water these coffee filters, they'd be great. I mean, I've used them. They'll filter a lot of water. Uh, you could probably just get away with using one coffee filter a day, and honestly, 500 or 1,000 coffee filters is pretty cheap. So that's just one cheap, quick, easy thing that you can have on hand to help you. Uh, Another thing is a Boy Scout handbook. Now, I have one from when I was in the Boy Scouts years ago. It was back in the 80s when I was in the Boy Scouts. But those are a great cheap tool. You can pick one up on Amazon for about $10. Pick up a used one. It doesn't have to be perfect condition. Mine certainly isn't, but it's definitely readable, and I can go through it. I've gone through it several times, and I always find something else I didn't know, and it'll show you about knots you can tie and different things you can do uh, in a survival or camping or whatever type of situation you're in. So it's a really handy tool, because knowledge is going to be key in a collapse or end time situation. SHTF, knowledge is going to be a big thing, and you're not going to be able to get on the internet and just look up something. You're going to have to know how to do it, or at least have a reference of how to do things. Another manual that you can get is the U.S. Army Survival Handbook. You can pick one of them up on Amazon for about $11 or $12, and those have a lot of good things in it. Uh, it it has some of the stuff that the Boy Scout Handbook has. Of course, it goes way beyond that, and you also have some poison snake identification and things like that. It's just things that you'll need to know. I mean, if you're going to be, especially if you're in any kind of rural environment, which you very well may end up being in, if you don't already live in one, it's just got a lot of good, useful information in it. And like I said before, knowledge is really going to be key. A couple of cheap items that I use when I'm camping. One is the Ozark Trail 200 lumen lantern. It's a little $10 lantern. I don't know, it might be 7 or 8 inches tall. It's not very big. It's a perfect little lantern, though, to use in a SHTF situation. I mean, it uses 4 AA batteries, and on high it'll put off quite a bit of light. But on low, it puts off enough light if you were in a situation where you just needed some light, at nighttime during each situation. But doesn't chew up the batteries. I mean, it'll last. It claims about 80 some hours, and from my experience, that's about what it'll run. It'll run about 80 hours on the 4 AA batteries, and that's a long time, folks. If you're using this 4 hours a night, you're looking at 20 days. And it's like I say, it's not huge, it's not overly bright, but you don't really want that. One thing about it is, for a cheap little lantern, it's got pretty good quality to it. I'm really happy with it. I've used it a lot. Another thing I use is an Ozark Trail camp grill, and it's just it's a 16 by 24 inch grill. It's got legs that fold in on it. You fold them out, put it over an open fire or charcoal or whatever you have, and you can cook on it. And it's a great thing to have. I tell you what, I've used it several times, and it's fairly lightweight. Now, it's probably not going to last forever because it's not as heavy as some of them you can buy, but it's the most expensive item on my list. It's about $25 for it, but it would be invaluable in an SHTF situation. You're going to have a way to cook your food, and eventually you're probably going to run out of any fuel or that you have, or generator, or whatever you have. So you're eventually going to have to cook over wood, and it's a great item to do that with. You can build a nice little fire, let it go down a little bit, get some good hot coals under there, set that up on top of it, and I mean, I've cooked all kinds of things on it. Matter of fact, we were camping this weekend. I cooked breakfast on it. I cooked hot dogs on it. I cooked breakfast on it with a cast iron frying pan, and it worked out great. And you can also I've cooked pork chops on it, barbecue, different things. I mean, it's a great little tool to have, and I think it's going to be something that's pretty important. So, but those are 5 items that are fairly cheap. Something you can just pick up next time you go to Walmart. You can grab you some coffee filters, or a lantern or something, or order you a book off Amazon. And it's just something you can pick up and have, give you a little more peace of mind, and something that's going to be very valuable when the time comes. So, anyway, thank you for watching. I'll try to do some more videos here soon. I've got a lot of things going on, so I've got a lot of information I want to get out there. Click like and subscribe. Share the video if you would. And remember, all gun laws are unconstitutional.